So as we say goodbye to 2024, most of us could summarize this year as saying goodbye to any kind of affordability, especially when it comes to buying a home, and especially so in just the last 3 years or so. Take a look at this.
The average rate on the 30-year fixed mortgage today is hovering around 7%. In 2021, rates were at all-time lows. Consider how that affects the financing for the typical American home. With 2021's rates, interest payments would cost around $157,000. If it were financed in 2024, the cost jumps by a lot.
Now I'm going to drill down into more of these details coming up and whether or not you should consider buying a home now, later, or never. Stay tuned. What's going on, my YouTube friends? This is Jerry Abbott, your #1 real estate resource here in beautiful Las Vegas. Hey guys, a couple of real quick things before we dive into the video. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to learn the cold hard facts about the U.S. economy, the U.S. real estate market, and specifically the Las Vegas real estate market, then make sure to subscribe to the channel down below. Number 2, if you happen to like the content in today's video, make sure to press that thumbs up like button, guys. That would really help the channel out. And number 3, if you are thinking about relocating to beautiful Las Vegas, whether it's next month or next year, I've got your back. I'm a local real estate agent here. I've lived here for 20 years. I know every inch of this city. When that time is right for you, definitely reach out to me. Just call, text, or email me anytime, and I'll help you find that perfect dream home. Let's dive into the video. All right, so I want to go back to that opening chart regarding the cost of buying a home and drill down into some more details in that chart to determine whether or not you should think about buying a home now or hold off on doing so. Let's take a look at those details right now. All right, so let's take a look at this chart going from 2021 to 2024 in terms of the average home price. And if you thought home prices were bad, I want you to take a look at just how bad it is right now if you're looking at getting a mortgage because of where interest rates are right now. So let's look right there at the very top. You can see the year says 2021, 2024. So this is a 3-year comparison. Home price is the same, down payment is the same, loan term is the same, but this is where the interest rate changes right there that you can see in the highlight. 2.75% was the low point of interest rates 3 years ago, and right now it's hovering at about 7%. Now, right underneath it, this is where things change dramatically in terms of how much more money it costs to not only pay off the home, but in terms of what a mortgage payment goes for. So if we look right here in this other yellow highlight, $1,373, that's your monthly mortgage payment back in 2021 if you had a 2.75% interest rate. We go over to the right side here, it's almost $1,000 more per month at $2,200 a month at a 7% interest rate. And then you can see the yellow highlight, $157,000 is the total interest that you're paying on the home over a 30-year period of time. And right underneath that, you can see $578,000. That's the total cost that you would be paying for a $420,000 home, including interest. But if we go over to the right side, you can see right here in this other yellow highlight, $463,000 is your total interest. And at the very bottom, $883,000 is the total cost of a home that originally cost you $420,000, but ultimately will cost you more than double just because your interest rate is now likely at 7% from just a few years ago when you were under 3%. So this is really the ultimate punch to the stomach, because if it wasn't bad enough that home prices over the last few years have skyrocketed near record highs, now we have 7% interest rates, and you can see how much more it costs right now in terms of your monthly mortgage payment and how much total interest you're paying on the life of the loan of your home. So it just goes to show you, again, this is why I keep telling you guys, if you can comfortably buy a home, then do it. If you can't do it, then don't do it, because when you assess these kind of numbers, you have to know your financial numbers inside and out to determine whether or not it's worthwhile right now for you to buy a home or not. Now, here in Las Vegas, where I happen to be located, the median home price is a lot higher than $420,000, according to this new local news report that just came out.
Median price of single-family homes sold in Southern Nevada, $480,000. That is up from 6.7% from this time last year, but it was just short of the all-time record of $482,000.
But now here's the thing. There's a lot of things happening below the surface that most people are not talking about regarding the housing market. Take a look at this. All right, so this table is very interesting. Take a look at the very top where it says the table below shows the metro areas with the 15 largest rises in listing count in November. Now, I cut this list down to just the top 5 cities, where these are the top 5 cities where we've seen the most amount of homes go up for sale in the last year. So if we take a look on the top left here, you can see right at the top left in the yellow highlights, San Diego has seen an active listing count increase of 52.5%. Median list price is just under $1 million. Next is Miami at about 51%. Denver's about 50%. Orlando, Florida is 50%. And right here where I'm located in Las Vegas, about 47%. So now this is not just happening in these top 5 cities. This is happening across the country in most major cities that are pretty close to these numbers, which just goes to show you that inventory is growing. More homes are for sale because less people can qualify when we're still at near record high home prices and 7% interest rates. So here's the thing. When we see housing inventory spike across the country and we're still near record home prices and 7% interest rates, it's fair to assume that eventually we're going to see a housing price correction. And in populous cities like Las Vegas, where I happen to be located, we're now starting to see that happen. And I want to show you a few examples of that coming up. All right, so now I'm on the popular real estate platform Zillow that most of you are familiar with. And I wanted to show you 3 specific examples of Las Vegas homes for sale, starting in the luxury category and then working down closer to the median price point. And again, these are just a few of the many, many examples that I find every single week here in the Las Vegas real estate market of homes, number 1, that are massively now reduced in price, number 2, overpriced, and number 3, homes that have closed far below the original list price. So let's take a look at this first one. We're going to have a little bit of fun. I know obviously 99% of people out there can't afford a multi-million-dollar home like this one, but I want to show you the full crazy price reduction on this particular luxury home. So you can see on the left side of the screen, this home is $5.1 million. It's a 5-bedroom, 6-bath, 7,300 square foot home. You can see down here in the bottom left in this yellow highlight that Zillow has this home estimated at about $4.8 million. So this home is almost $300,000 still overpriced compared to what Zillow has it at. You can see the HOA here in the bottom right highlight of $333 a month, but let's take a look at the full price history down below. All right, so focus your attention down on the blue highlight at the bottom of the screen. Down on the bottom left here, the date says 5/6/2022. So this is a little over 2.5 years ago. This home was built and sold for $2.5 million. Now, if we look at the date just above it, you can see in the yellow highlight, 3/9/2024. So that's just under 2 years later. They listed this home for sale for $7.25 million, but just above it, a few days later, they decided let's increase the price another $250,000 and make it an even $7.5 million. So these sellers think in about 2 years, this home tripled in value, which is completely and utterly ridiculous. They couldn't find a buyer and they've been struggling to sell it. And you can see just above it, they dropped the price to $6.7 million, 6.4, 5.9, and as we go all the way up here, you can see the current price right there in the yellow highlight of $5.1 million. So I know this is a bit of a ridiculous example to show because I know the vast majority of people could never afford a $5 million home, but it just goes to show you, especially in the luxury category, how these sellers are completely delusional and in fantasy land trying to get these ridiculous prices for homes. They're not even close to the true value point, and that's why they're sitting on the market and they're going through significant price reductions. So again, whether you're a luxury buyer or an average price point buyer, you've got to pay attention to the numbers and not overbid just because a seller is delusional in their original list price. All right, so now let's take a look at this second example of another Las Vegas home for sale. We're definitely coming down in price, but still right near the entry point of the luxury category here in Las Vegas, because you can see the list price here on this home is $1,350,000. It's a 5-bedroom, 5-bath, nearly 5,000 square foot home. But again, I want to show you the full price history down below, and then I want to show you the aerial footage shot of the surrounding homes in this community to show you how overpriced this home is compared to those surrounding homes. All right, so again, take a look at the blue highlight down at the bottom of the screen. Over here on the bottom left, the date says 9/1/2020. So we're going back a little over 4 years ago. This home was sold for $800,000. But if you take a look just above it, it was just listed about 10 days ago. You can see the date right there on 12/18. It was listed for $1,350,000. That's about a 65% price increase in just 4 years, which again, in the history of real estate, homes never have appreciated that quickly. And again, I want to show you in the next screenshot, the aerial footage of the surrounding homes just to show you how high this prices of this particular home is compared to those surrounding homes. All right, so this is the aerial footage shot of this particular community, and you can see the home right here, $1.35 million right next to the red arrow. So let's go just above it. You can see it says 864, 885, 896, 866, 703, and you can just see all these home prices right here going up the right and then going up the left. You're looking in the $800,000 to $900,000 range. Now, these two homes right here at the very bottom are the two big golf course lots. That's where they're looking at $1.3 and $1.2 million. But when you look at the surrounding homes, it's more important also to check the surrounding comps. And I want to show you the homes that sold recently in this particular community. So now take a look at these small little yellow circles here on this same aerial footage shot. You can see on the top right, $739,000, $910,000 in the middle, $915,000 in the middle. On the left side, $850,000, $850,000, and the upper left side, $600,000. These homes represent the homes in this community that have recently sold. So again, even though these are not golf course lot homes, and they're definitely smaller lots and smaller size homes, these homes are not even close to $1 million, let alone the two golf course lot homes down here that are currently at about $1.2 or $1.3 million. So there's no way to justify that this home is worth $1.3 million when nothing in this community is even close to the $1 million mark. All right, so let's take a look at this third and final example of another Las Vegas home for sale. Now, this home is no longer for sale because you can see right at the top middle there, this home closed right there in the yellow highlight for $590,000 just a couple of weeks ago. But more importantly, I want to show you down here in the blue highlight what the original list price was. You can see on the bottom left of the highlight, 9/6/2023 was the original list date, and it was listed for sale for $730,000. So after 15 months and a $140,000 price reduction, this home finally sold. So again, it just goes to show you a lot of sellers are not properly pricing their homes. And as a result of that, they're sitting on the market for a long period of time and they're going through big price reductions. If you're looking at buying a home, you definitely want to check the pricing history. You definitely want to check the comps in the neighborhood, have a real estate agent definitely help you out, and do not just bid blindly on the original list price of these homes, because especially now during the slow season for real estate, you're likely going to get a better deal at this time of year. So again, these are just a few of the many examples that I find here in the Las Vegas real estate market where there's a tremendous amount of Las Vegas homes for sale, and there's either a lot of overpricing, a lot of price reductions, and a lot of homes closing for far below the original list price. And I know this is happening not just here in Las Vegas, but throughout the whole country as well, because I got a lot of people from around the country telling me that they're seeing homes sit on the market for longer periods of time. And I think especially during the wintertime, which is naturally the slowest part of the real estate season, if interest rates stay very high and home prices stay near record highs, there's only one way for things to move, and that's downward in my opinion, especially as we get into 2025. So before we end today's video, I just want to give a shout out to my favorite comment from last week's video, and that goes to Jacob. Now I'm going to put Jacob's comments up here on full screen and read it to you guys real quick and then come back on the other side and comment on it. So Jacob wrote, "Who's buying a house that is less than 50% of your take-home pay? I can't find one. Being house poor is terrifying when costs of everything continues to increase." So that's the unfortunate reality for millions of people right now, because home prices have gone up so much in just the last few years while people's incomes have lagged far behind. I want to hear from you guys. I want you to drop me a comment down below. I read and respond to all of my comments. I want to hear a little bit about your particular housing scenario. If you own a home, how much did it cost you? What kind of down payment did you put down? What kind of interest rate do you have? And is it taking up more than 50% of your take-home pay? And my favorite comment from this week's video, I'm going to give a direct on-screen shout out to in next week's video. So just to close out the video, you guys are going to see this just a couple of days before the new year. So I want to wish you all a happy new year and a very prosperous new year. And if you're thinking about buying a home, I want to just offer one piece of advice. Definitely run the numbers. Whether you're thinking about buying a home here in Las Vegas or anywhere in the country, definitely make sure it makes sense financially to you. Try to find a good deal on a home, and more importantly, make sure financially you can comfortably afford it. If you can do it, then go for it. If you can't do it comfortably, wait for lower prices, wait for lower interest rates until that time comes. Now, if you're thinking about buying a home, especially here in the Las Vegas real estate market, I've got your back. I'm a local real estate agent here. I've lived here for 20 years. I know every inch of this city. When that time is right for you, definitely reach out to me. Just call, text, or email me anytime, and I'll help you find that perfect dream home. I'll see you guys next year in the next video.